Hey everybody, it's Nevaeh with Move Well back for day 1 of your Pilates program. I hope you listened to the introduction and I hope that you learned all awesome things to bring to this workout today. So day 1 is arms and abs. This workout will be around 20 minutes, again focusing on our core and our arm muscles. So we'll hit all of those arm muscles, biceps, triceps, all the things. Today I have my mat. I have a lower weight, which are 5s for me, and a set of 10-pound weights, which are a little heavier for more of my curls, chest presses, flies, all of the things. So first things first, let's start with the warm-up. Arm circles, bring the hands forward, up and over for that circle. We'll go one direction for about 10, so 3, 4, just taking a moment to really lengthen out, stretch it out. 6, breathing, 7, 8, 9, and 10. On this one, we reverse, starting back and then coming forward. Feeling that stretch through the shoulders. You can even close your eyes. Taking this time to just take that deep breath, preparing yourself for this workout. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and next we'll come into our mermaids. Gotta look at that one. So just reaching up and over, stretching out that oblique, and then up and over, other side. Just taking that stretch, but keeping it nice and active, stay moving. All right, for this next one, we'll find a little side body twist. So give me 2 more, up and over, and then up and over, back through center. Arms come to a T. Take the palms and push them out to the walls next to you. So your palms, your fingertips are pulled back and palms are pressing towards the walls. Feet are a little wider than hip distance, and you just rotate in one direction and then rotate in the other direction. Just rotating through center, back and forth. Just be careful, don't hit anybody, don't hit anything. All right, just talking through this workout. For the first section, we'll do 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off, working the arm muscles first. And then next we'll come into the abdominals and we'll do 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. So with the 30 seconds arm section, that means we're gonna be doing more arm workouts. For the ab section, it'll be a little less, it'll be a little longer of work time, or it'll be essentially the same, actually a little less because you get 15 seconds of rest during your ab portion, but you'll have less variety, is what I'm trying to say. All right, so starting out with that arm section, I'm gonna go ahead and get our timer. Grab your water if you need to, get your weights, get whatever you need, take a few deep breaths, prepare yourself because we are going to challenge ourselves. Of course, being gentle and intentional with our form. Again, that control, our breath, we're using all of it to help us today. So starting out with a front raise, let me get this timer started. All right, front raise. You just lift the hand weights up to shoulder height and then back down. My palms are down towards the ground. I'm just lifting straight up and then back down. So ground your feet into the floor. Have a soft bend in your knees. Abdominals are pulling up and in. Join me here if you haven't already. All right, 3, 2, and last one, lower down. Next one is our hammer curl. So if you want to pick up those heavier weights, feel free. You've got 3, 2, and 1. Hammer curl, bending at that elbow joint, coming to about 90 degrees, and then extending those hands back out by the thighs. Pull it up and release. Next, we have serve the tray, which is quite literally what it sounds like. I'll get ready to show you that one on our next break. Ooh, a little elbow pop for me. Just breathing through this. Exhale on the hardest part, which for me, it's lifting those weights up. 2, and one, little break. I'm switching my weights for this next one. So serve the tray, your arms are at 90 degrees and you just extend them out, but this time palms are towards the sky. You might want to grab the lower set in the weight number, because this one is a little more challenging. All right, 3, 2, and 1, let's go. Press it out, bend it in. Press it out, bend it in. Beautiful job. I can't see you, but I just know you're doing wonderful. Abdominals are pulling up and in this entire time. Active abdominal connection. Again, finding that center. 3, 2, and last one. Lower on down. For the next one, we have external rotation. I will stick with the same weight. The elbows are by the sides, and you just open those hands to the side, keeping the elbows tight by the waist. So just opening and closing. Open and close. Core is engaged, don't forget it. I'll keep reminding you. 3, 2, and 1, rest it down. All right, for the next one, we have a single arm shoulder press. I'm gonna pick up my heavier weights. I may regret it, but that's okay. You can change your weights at any point. So one arm lifts, push it down. Push the other one up, meet me there if you haven't already. Getting straight into it. Up and down, up and down. So right then left. Just pressing it straight up to the sky. Palms are out in front of you. Try to pull that rib cage in, 2, and 1, lower down, rest it down for 10 seconds. Next is our tricep extension, but I want you to have a bit of a hinge. So tip the torso forward, slight bend in the knees. Arms are at 90 degrees, meet me here. You extend those hands out just past the hips and then bend it back in. Press it out, squeeze those triceps to the back of your arm, back of your upper arm, and then bring it back forward. It kind of looks like a little ski motion, so sometimes I like to call these skiers. Trying to stabilize your body. Body does move a little bit. It's a byproduct of that work. That's okay, just being mindful. 2, and 1, drop it down, rest it down. All right, next one is our delt fly. So we stay in that hinge and you just bring the arms to a T. All right, meet me there. I'm getting my heavier weights for this one. Working into our back muscles a little bit more in this one. Control the movement. Remember, there's purpose. Core is tight, it is engaged. Inhale, exhale. If you can't lift up as high, totally fine. Just find your range of motion. Three, 2, and 1. Rest it on down. All right, for the next one, we have open and closed books. So your hands are high and you hold it together through center and then just open to the sides. So meet me there. Here we go. Open and close. You keep going. I'm gonna check this timer real quick. Just keep opening those arms to the sides, pull it back in, standing nice and tall. All right, for this next portion, I'm dropping my weights. I'm sticking with just my arms. So we're coming into a little bit of an endurance, kind of higher rep portion. So once you're ready, we're coming into a T-pulse. Arms are in a T. You pulse it up and down. Stopping at the top, stopping at the bottom. Up and down, up and down. Here we go. You can even sway side to side while you find that controlled pulse. Core is pulling up and in. Try to keep it higher. Don't let those arms fall too far down. Feels like you're flying. Little fly. All right, rest it down. Next one is arm circles. We'll do front, so forward for 30 seconds, and then we'll switch after our rest. So meet me in the T. Circle those arms forward for this first bit. Again, you can push your palms out towards the sides. So straight hand out in front of you, or sorry, to the sides. Just going forward, up and over. My shoulders are already burning. Try to relax those shoulders away from the ears. We don't want to tense up. We want to stay relaxed through those shoulders, but still working into those shoulder blades. All right, rest it down. So we have the other direction, so we're going backwards this time. So just give those arms a little shake. Here we go. Arms are up in a T, get ready. Inhale, exhale, circle it back. Here we go. Core is pulling in, up and in. Standing nice and tall, gazes forward. Try not to let the neck drop down. We want to keep that beautiful posture. Control over the body. I know you're tired, but you are in control and you are stronger than you think you are. Your body can do a lot more physically than sometimes we are capable of doing mentally. Our mind gives up before our body. Rest it down. All right. Next, we're still sticking with if you want to add those hand weights or even weights around the wrist, feel free. But next, we're coming into our T arms and then behind the head. So T and then hands behind the head. Open and close, open and close. Here is from the side, open and close. Trying to keep those arms high, think shoulder height. You're just pulling it out and in. Again, control. We don't want to just fly through the movement and not really feel it. We want to think mind to muscle connection. Abdominals pulling up and in. 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Rest it down. All right. For the next one, grabbing those hand weights, but I'm sticking with my lower weights. All right. And elbows by the waist, and just press it out to the sides this time. So think about that serve the tray we did earlier, but this time it's towards the sides, towards the corners of the room. Core is in. Don't forget, I'm gonna remind you like every single exercise, it is so important. 2 and 1, lower down, rest it down. Next, meet me on your mat. We're coming into a chest press. So lying all the way flat, grab your heavier weights. Palms are towards the wall in front of you, and you're in a goalpost position, and then you just press those hands up. So think a wide chest press. Feet are just on the floor. Core is pulling up and in, but there's a little bit of space between my low back and the floor. Try to find that neutral spine. Melting the rib cage down. 3, 2, last arm workout. You get a 30-second rest now before we go into our core. So remember, it is extremely important for our core to be engaged during our core work. We really want to fire up those muscles and use them well. Get stronger in that core to help with that posture, just help with daily life. All right, we've got about 6 seconds here, and I'm gonna start our next interval timer, changing to our 45 seconds on, and then about 15 seconds off. Yes, I have to remember, so sorry. All right, coming into our chest lift, which is essentially an ab crunch first. You'll meet me laying down on your mat. I'm starting our timer. Your hands are behind your head, elbows wide, and your legs are in tabletop, knees over hips. So 90 degrees at the knee joint, and you're just lifting head and chest up and down. Your goal is to try and get those shoulder blades off of the mat. It's like you're taking your rib cage down towards your hips. During this portion of class, a little bit of a different abdominal connection. We're trying to keep the low back flat. So you have a gentle tuck of the tailbone to where you're sending that low back into the floor the entire time, and you're pulling belly button to spine. Rest it down. All right, a little bit of rest here before our next one. We're coming into double leg toe tap. So you keep that 90-degree bend at the knee joint. You keep your chest lifted. You just tap your toes down and then use the hips to pull it back there. Meet me here, tapping both toes down and then bring it back up. If you want to soften this challenge, single leg toe taps, bring one toe down and then the other foot. Keep changing. Belly button is pushing down to spine, imprinted spine. Low back is melting into the floor. Try to keep a light touch on the head. We don't want to put too much pressure there. Use those abdominals. I'm using my abdominals, that's why my voice is getting a little shaky. Three, 2, and 1. Lower down. Beautiful. All right, next one is our crisscross, which essentially is a bicycle crunch. So you take the right shoulder to the left knee and then switch other side. Meet me there. Here we go. 2 and 1. Crunch it over and bring it back through center and switch. Option to lay the head and chest down before you go to the other side, making it a little softer, getting a little bit of rest before you go to the other side. Try to keep those elbows wide. I know you kind of have to dodge the floor, dodge whatever else is around you. So just be mindful of your surroundings, but still try to challenge your core and not put pressure on the head. Exhale on the hardest part. Keep going, keep flowing through there. Just checking on this timer. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. 15 seconds. All right, for our next one, we tap our ankles, so we find that chest lift to tap our ankles, so you're all the way flat. You chest lift, tap ankles, and then lower the legs down. So a little combo. Lower the head and chest. Meet me there, lift head and chest. Keep it high, lower the legs. Pull the legs up, and then lower back down. Try to tap those ankles, lower the legs, lift the legs, lower head and chest. If at any point the chest lift is too much, feel free to just stick with the head and chest down and just lower the legs and lift the legs. Trying to maintain the low back to the floor, so keeping that contact. Or you add that combo. Just find your challenge. All right, lower down. Rest it down. You're almost there. We have 3 more left. So coming into our double leg stretch next. You hug the knees in, keep the chest lifted. Extend arms and legs, circle just the arms to hug the knees in. Extend, circle arms, hug those knees in, keep it going. Extend and open, circle and close. Again, if at any point this is too much, lower the head and chest, but keep the arms and the legs going. So extend and circle arms to hug the knees in. If you want that challenge, you stay lifted with the head and chest. I should say more of a challenge. Each part is still challenging no matter where you're at. Inhale, exhale. flow through that movement, breathe. Almost there, less than 10 seconds to go. Continue to circle it around, hug it in. 2 and 1, lower down. 15 seconds on the clock. So next is straight single leg stretch. So it's kind of like scissors. You pull one leg in, pulse, pulse, and then switch. Pulse, pulse, meet me there. Pull the left leg in, pulse it once and twice, and switch your leg, right leg, 1, 2, and switch. Try to keep those legs nice and straight, and then switch side to side. Try to keep the chest lifted, keeping the shoulder blades off of the mat below you. If the chest lift, again, if it's ever too much, you soften the challenge by lowering the head and chest, but keep those legs going. And you can grab lower on your legs if you can't reach all the way up. So again, you get to choose this challenge. Breathing. Abdominals zipping up and in, pressing the low back to the floor. Try to use the back of the body to pull the legs in, keeping your arms kind of rounded, slight bend at the elbow joint. Keep it going. Checking this timer. It feels so long. 3, 2, and lower, down. Way to keep pushing. Almost there. Literally 1 more to go. So we're just reaching towards the ankles. So the same thing as earlier, we're just not lowering those legs. All right, lay it down. Lift head and chest, try to tap your ankles, and then lower head and chest. Lift it up, lower it down, lift and lower, lift and lower. Low back is pressing into the floor. The abdominals slipping up and in. And exhaling as I lift my chest. Get to stretch it out after this. You got it. 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Beautiful job. Way to push through that. All right, coming in to our stretches next. So, meet me in a seated position. You want your legs to be out in front of you, nice and straight. On those sits bones, hands are forward, and then from the spine, start to round it forward. But try to keep your hands, your arms at shoulder height, and just let your gaze fall towards the floor. Try to lengthen out those fingertips, almost like someone's pulling your hands away from your body. And then roll it back up. Let's just do that one more time. Roll it down and hold. Maybe try to flex the feet, getting deeper into the back of the legs. Really lengthen out those hands, those arms. I like to wiggle my fingers a little bit. You can even roll out your wrists. And then restack. All right. For this next one, separate the legs about mat distance apart. You're seated nice and tall. Arms are in a slight T position if you're avoiding the wall like me, or they're in a T. So twist towards one direction and then dive forward, pinky to pinky toe, re-stack, and then unrotate. Rotate, round it down, re-stack, and then unrotate. Keep it going. We'll do a couple more. Alright, find center. I will turn to face you guys so you can see this next one. So I'm in this crisscross applesauce position. If your knees can't get there, feel free to just keep the legs out in front of you, either way. And then take one hand, taking my right hand, pressing it down into the floor as I push my left hand up and over, and I'm trying to ground my left hip, pressing it down into the floor so that I can really work in opposition to stretch out that oblique. Bring it up and over, other direction. Up and over both sides, one more time. I like to get my elbow down, but if you can't get there today, feel free to just stay up on that palm. Again, just finding your stretch for your body, just like you found your personal challenge earlier. All right, come back through center. And thank you so much for joining day one. I hope you continue to enjoy this Pilates program. I hope to see you next time.